sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody needs. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody needs. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, hey.
Yes, we are warmed up on a very early morning. Thank you to Andrea and Philly. So it's wonderful to have you with us this morning. Let's give them a round of applause. So I would like to kind of begin our service with a spiritual mind treatment. So I invite you to just settle into yourself for a moment with me as we recognize the truth that this is a spiritual universe, that there is one thing and one thing only, it is spirit. And therefore each one of us is an individualization of spirit. We are one with the one. And we have this wonderful, unique ability to make choices, to enjoy, to live a life of freedom. And so recognizing this freedom to choose, I now choose and declare that this morning is the beginning of something wonderful. That each one of us right here now, and each person who may still be sleeping at home is having the right perfect experience, that all good is unfolding for each and every one of us, that we are engaged in an unfolding of greater health, greater prosperity, wonderful relationships, and a beautiful, creative, intelligent life. I declare that this is so, and I know that this morning's service and fellowship also unfold with good for all, because good is the truth. Love is the truth. And I celebrate it and accept it. And with gratitude in my heart, I invite you all to join with me by declaring this, by saying with me, and so it is. So I'm Reverend Kate, and it is my pleasure to welcome everyone to the Center for Spiritual Living Carlsbad, where we understand that there is a power for good in the universe, greater than we are, and we can use it. So I would like to begin by inviting Johnny up to help us with our candle lighting this morning. And we do this candle lighting ceremony to remind ourselves of the underlying spirit of life and the divine unity of all. So first, we light a candle for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us. There is only one life. That life is God's life, and that life is our life now. So please affirm with me, I am life. We light a candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us every time we make room for the Christ consciousness in our hearts and recognize our unity. We are points of love within the heart of God. Please affirm with me, I am love. We light a candle for light. The light of God is the presence and the power. We are always walking in the light. We radiate the light of God wherever we are. Please affirm with me, I am light. We light a candle for beauty. We are made in the likeness and image of God. We are each whole, complete, and beautiful just as we are. We accept the beauty of God's perfection as our perfection now. Please affirm with me, I am beauty. We light a candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each of us. We celebrate the joy of our own rebirth in the God consciousness. We each bring joy to the world. Please affirm with me, I am joy. We light a candle for peace. Today and every day, we open our hearts to peace. We are each a center of peace in our world. So please affirm with me, I am peace. And finally, I'd like to invite you to take a moment to recognize your own inner light that is always shining within as we each honor our own metaphysical path of wholeness, oneness, and mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you, Tom. So as we get started, I do have a few announcements to share. First, I want to give a special welcome to anyone visiting for the first time today and invite you to make yourself at home. Join us for fellowship after the service, and please sign our guest book in the lobby. Now, every Sunday, we offer spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer as our gift to you. So if you have a prayer request today, you can see me, Reverend Ahmondra, Practitioner Larry, after the service, and we'd be happy to do a prayer treatment for you. Or you can also go into the lobby and fill out a written request and put it in the wooden box there, and our prayer team will do prayer treatment work for you this week. Our prayer team, our names are all listed on the back of your program. So let's see, I want to remind everyone that Reverend Maureen, who is back in Hawaii for another month, but her Spiritual Aloha group continues to meet every Wednesday. If you need the Zoom link, just see me during fellowship and I can give it to you. Then, when she returns in April, we are going to offer a class called Mental Equivalence. So just keep that in mind. I think it's a good class about how to actually change your thinking and change your life. So let's see, the most important announcement is next week is Potluck Sunday.
Yay!
So that's always really important. It's also St. Patrick's Day, which could be important too. I see Marilla is already dressed.
I forgot.
Angry.
But next
No, it's
week
good. I brought oatmeal cookies, so we're getting wound up for St. Patrick's Day. Okay, so we ministers try to keep things organized here, but a really important part of what goes on in our community is also our fellowship. And I don't organize that. That is, that's everyone who comes spontaneously doing that. But we do like to make it easy for people to connect. So on the welcome table, if you take a look at it, we do have a phone and email list. And so if you could just check to see if you're on it. I know some of you are not on it. So on page 2, there are some blank lines that you could fill in your preferred email and phone number. If you, it's really helpful when people volunteer and they can't show up for some reason, but it's also great if you want to carpool or meet for coffee. So please take a look at that. And then, just know that fellowship is what we make of it. So it's really our time to enjoy each other. Because this really is a community-based spiritual center, and it takes a lot of teamwork to keep it going. So today I want to recognize some of our generous volunteers and helpers who might not be getting up on stage. And first, let's recognize Odie for the flowers and for being And I want to thank Berla and Morgan for the treats. Thank you for and Jim is doing our video recording and helped set everything up, and also Jim moved everything over to the Harding Center and back again. So thank you for that.
Wow.
And I also want to thank Jen and Angel, who are always going to keep us on task and set up. And of course, the volunteer sign-up sheet is on the red clipboard in the lobby. So, there's a couple of empty slots next week. Now, if you could look inside your program and find the group reading and read it aloud with me. Ready? God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love and perfect abundance. I am individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. And now, does everyone have a song sheet? I'll turn it over to Andrea and Julie. Stand up.
Here we go. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This wonderful, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. My life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful life. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful life. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful life. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful life. Woo!
And now it's time for our inspirational reading. So I'd like to invite Clary up to read for us. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. Here you go.
If anyone wants to know why I'm limping today, it's because of pickleball. I sprained my hamstring. Anyways, our reading today is from the Daily Word, and it is entitled Divine Grace Supports My Every Step. Interesting, I hadn't thought of that.
And so it is.
And so it is. Very good. We've known a range of experiences in our lives, from joyousness to heartbreak, and from triumphant to tragic. Along the way, divine grace has been our companion. It has elevated us in times of ease and has kept us from falling too low in times of difficulty. Grace is a wonderful present, a way to feel the love and support of God in a personal way. It is our spiritual safety net, and our assurance that no matter what we may go through, we will not go through it alone. We are secure in faith, held in love, and sustained in strength. We are grateful for these divine gifts, for the grace that makes us keenly aware of divine activity as we navigate the peaks and the valleys of our earthly life.
Thank you. This day I awoke with a passion in my heart, a feeling of longing, a thirst so strong. I want to be better, an opening for God to make me stronger. My prayer today is for courage to be what the Holy Spirit intends for me. I want to be better, an opening for God to make me stronger. Make me patient when I worry. Make me calm when there is strife. Make me loving when my heart is hard. Make me forgiving when I would be right. Make me forgiving. My prayer today is for courage to do what the Holy Spirit intends for me. I want to be better, an opening for God to make me stronger. Stronger to reveal more peace. I must be patient to reveal more love. I must be humble to reveal more power. Make me stronger. To reveal more peace, more love, more joy, more joy. I want to be better, an opening for God to make me stronger. This is my prayer today. Oh, God.
So beautiful, thank you. Now it's my great pleasure to turn the podium over to Reverend Dr. Ahmondra McClendon. Let's welcome.
morning, church.
Good morning.
That's good. I like that. So I have written down here, spring is sprung, and we are blessed to live in such a beautiful place. Don't we live in a beautiful city?
Uh-huh.
We do. So I wanted to share this with you this morning. My sermon is Grace Unwrapped, the Divine Presence. But I also want to share with you how the messages come to me. I used to be a motivational speaker where I would go out and I'd speak. I'd get a date, I'd create a topic, and then I would prepare whatever it is I was going to say. That does not happen as a minister. As a minister, the moment I say I am going to speak on a particular day, something opens up. And that something that opens up is a space. And that space is grace. And then ideas start pouring into me. And all I have to do is stand there. Now the interesting thing is I could get a date that's a month down the road, and the topic won't come to me until the day before I'm supposed to speak. Now, that's the challenge. But this particular topic, it's amazing how it flooded into me. So Tuesday, I go to Carlsbad Library with my ballot, and I'm walking up like everybody else to deposit our ballots. Now you have to understand, I live in a city where very few people look like me. Very few people look like me. Okay? If I see 3 other black people, I'm like, we're going to have a parade. So I walked up, and I'm waiting in line to drop my ballot off, and something flooded into my consciousness. I didn't have to worry about somebody saying to me, you can't be here, you need to leave. Or you need to go over there and you need to pay money. Or you need to fill out these papers. Or just somebody pushing me out of the line saying you don't belong here. I didn't have to think about that. Nobody around me paid any attention to me. I was undisturbed. I dropped my ballot in like everybody else, and I walked to my car. But what dropped in my spirit in that moment was grace. It was grace that had it okay for me to go and drop my ballot in that box. And that's what I'm going to be speaking to you about this morning. Grace is a power and presence in the universe that allows us as human beings to step forward and change and do things we've never done before, and to alter the way we think, the way we show up. All my life growing up, I had this, confusion about grace. Like people would say God's grace. I didn't know what that meant. Intellectually, I couldn't grasp it. They would say God's grace is always with you. I didn't understand it, but as I got older and my spirituality deepened, I understood that it's an energy that emanates from spirit. It emanates from us because we are spirit. It is a presence, a helping presence that operates in our life from birth to death. It's a blessing. And when we falter or stumble or stall in life, and we feel like we might be failing, or in times of discouragement or disappointment, it is grace. That is that light, that little bitty light on the horizon. And it's a powerful energy allowing us to know there's hope. There's a glimmer of hope. How many of you have ever been in a dark, dark place? And all of a sudden, it was this little glimmer, just a little glimmer, that said, wow, there's some hope. That's grace. It allows us to rise after falling. It allows us to have hope after a deep, deep loss. Many of us are experiencing the loss of someone we love. Grace is that presence that allows us to get up and move forward. Even inside of our grief, it's grace that allows us to move forward. It's also that wonderful feeling that surfaces as forgiveness, healing, and spiritual abundance. It's an energy that flows from us when we are of service. That's why we feel so good when we're being of service, when we're giving. That's why we feel good, because it's grace. Grace is flowing out from us. Grace has us feel good because it's the energy of love. It's not an energy that we think about. It's ours. It's part of us. It's our divinity. When we understand the helping nature of grace, we live in a more secure and we live a more secure and relaxed life. We're not worried. We're not fretting. We're not concerned and living inside of anxiety. Grace does not show up like anxiety. If you are living inside of anxiety, you have terrorized yourself out of grace. Let me say that again. You have terrorized yourself out of grace, because grace is always here. It's always with us. And if it's not, you're the one that made it go away. It didn't go away on its own. Well, it didn't go away, it's there. You're the one that's not recognizing it. It's always there, never goes away. But you block it out with thoughts and all that. Grace is what has us get on the boat and take that trip across troubled waters to a smoother place. Boat be rocking. We're feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to drown. I'm not going to make it. Grace is what smooths everything over for us. And all we have to do is remember. That's all you have to do is just remember. Ernest Holmes puts it this way. We need not coerce. We do not create the power, but we must let this great power operate through us. We have to allow it to operate through us. We don't have to force it. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to work to get it. If we did, we wouldn't have grace, because none of us want to do the work. We needed to do the habit. It's a gift. And it's a gift that shows up in the present. That's why I like that play on word. It's a gift, it's a present from God. And it shows up in the present. Doesn't show up in the past. The past is a memory. Doesn't show up in the future. The future is a vision. It shows up right here, right now, in the present. So now I'd like to unwrap grace. I just gave you my definition of what it is, how it shows up. Now I want to unwrap it. And I want to unwrap it in a way that lets you see that grace gives us road signs throughout our life. So I'm going to share with you how it showed up in my life. And as I'm going through the stages of development, I'm going to start with childhood, and I'm going to go all the way up to elderhood. I want you to think about your life. So I'm going to break it down according to the letters. So I'm going to start with the letter G. So as a child, I learned to say grace at every meal. My mom would always ask me, did you say grace? Did you say grace? She didn't say, did you bless your food? My mother would say, did you say grace? And what she was teaching me was to be grateful. So the first letter of grace for me is gratitude, to be grateful. She was saying, did you say thank you for the food that you have? Because everybody doesn't have the type of food that we have. And you have to be grateful for that. So I learned gratitude. And I understood as I got older that the more I was grateful, the more I had to be grateful for. And it started showing up everywhere. It didn't just show up with my food, it started showing up in other areas of my life. And that gratitude started to grow and expand. And it helped me to show appreciation for God's gift. I have to also say my mom was named Grace. That helped me a whole lot. How it showed up as a power in my life. At 11 years old, it was grace that helped me be grateful for my life, because I was terrorized when I heard that there were 4 little girls who looked like me, that were my age, who had been blown up in their church at Sunday school. That terrified me. But it was grace that let me know, you're okay. You're okay. You can be grateful for your life. You're okay. Because as a little girl, that scared me. And I loved my Sunday school, and I loved church. And it was like, oh my God, I can't go to church. No. Calm yourself. And it was grace that just poured over me. Now, at 11 years old, I did not know that. I just knew that the terror left and that I was okay. And I stopped worrying about going to church and being scared. So in childhood, the energy of grace presented to me as gratitude. Now let's move into adolescence. So in adolescence, I will use responsible to represent the R in the word grace. So in adolescence, I learned to be responsible for my behaviors, for my actions, for my physical space. I learned to be responsible for my room, for my clothes. I learned to be responsible to do my homework, getting it done on time. That was my responsibility. I learned how to be responsible to show up in the world and share and be respectful to adults and to be friend and compassionate to my friends. All of this came to me inside of adolescence as responsibility. And grace showed up this way. At 14 years old, in junior high school, we used to always leave school. We'd leave campus and go to a friend's house, a group of us, to party. There were no drugs at that time. We would just take our 45 records, some of you remember them, and we'd play and we'd dance, and I was always the one who was like conscious, right? I was like, oh, we gotta go back. I had a watch. My mother gave me a watch when I was like 7 years old. You need to know how to get back home on time. So I would look at the watch, oh my God, we gotta go back. And we'd all pack up, and because we weren't supposed to be off campus. And we'd all pack up and we'd all go back. So this one particular day, we were all going back, and I noticed that one friend, Matthew, just ran off from us. And I was like, where are you going? And he's like, I'm not going back, I'm going to hang out with Clarence. And I'm like, Clarence he was an older student, he wasn't in our school. And I said, Clarence is a criminal. Clarence steals cars. You need to come back. You're going to go to jail. And he just went on. I was taught to be responsible for myself. I needed to get myself back to school and try to get as many others back to school as I could. Because if they caught us, they were going to snitch. You know, they was going to tell on everybody. So it was my job to herd everybody back to school. But I didn't get to herd Matthew back. 3 hours later, Matthew was shot and killed. Ooh. By police, running away from that stolen car. Mm. So at 14, I was like, filled with guilt because I didn't stop him. That was my job, to stop him. It wasn't my job, but at 14, I thought that was my job. It was grace that helped me get past that. But it also taught me something about responsibility. It taught me I have to be responsible for my life. Because responsibility means that I can stand inside of safety. When I'm responsible, safety shows up. Grace shows up. It keeps me in a place where I can move through life without things occurring to me that shouldn't occur to me. So in adolescence, grace showed up as responsibility. And I was able to move through that. Took me years to let go of the grief and the guilt, but I was able to move through it in junior high school. And I have to also say, during that time, my community exploded because black people went crazy in San Francisco, and our community just exploded in riots. They had to bring in the National Guard, a whole lot of other stuff. But at that particular moment, as a 14-year-old, I learned how responsibility meant I needed to take care of me, and it was grace that washed over me. So now we move into young adulthood. The word for A in grace for me is acceptance. So in adolescence, I learned how to be accepting of life, to not fight against it, because you know, that's what we do in adolescence. You're supposed to do this? No, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. No, you're supposed to go that way? No, I don't want to go that way. I'm going to go this way. I learned to accept in young adulthood that whatever showed up in my life, I didn't have to like it. I didn't even have to appreciate it. But it was great for me to just accept it, because I learned when I accepted it, my life was not so difficult. And grace was there. Now, once again, grace showed up at another time where there was excruciating, devastating pain in my life. 2 days after my 21st birthday, my best friend was murdered by an unknown assailant. And I was plunged into this darkness. It was grace that allowed me to come out of that darkness, but to accept that this happened, not fight against it, but to accept that this happened, to be inside of the grief, but to be grateful I was alive. At that moment, I learned to be grateful for my life and to accept that things are going to happen in life that are going to impact me, but I still have something to be grateful for. I had taken responsibility for my life. She had put herself in a situation that allowed that to occur. So again, it's like every lesson that was before a certain age group, I was like, okay, I remember that. Okay, I remember that. Okay, I remember that. So young adulthood, that's what I learned. So we move into adulthood. So what shows up in adulthood? In adulthood, I'm going to use commitment and courage to represent C, the letter C in grace. As adults, we learn to be committed. We commit to our families, we commit to our jobs, whatever it is we're going to do, we learn to commit. But we also learn that we have to have courage inside of those commitments. Because sometimes you'll make a commitment and you'll find that it terrifies you. And it's grace that shows up that gives you the courage to stand up. How many of you in adulthood was like, oh my God, I can't do that, but you had to commit to it anyway. And you had to move forward. Like, I got these children, I don't know what to do with them. You had to stand inside of courage to just know that you would be okay and you would be able to move forward and take care of them. So, in adulthood, we may not know how to go, where to go. We may not have the resources. We may not have the support. But because we've learned to be grateful, responsible, and accept life, we can stand firm in commitment and understand and know that we're going to get the spiritual support from grace to have the courage to continue to move forward. We may not always recognize grace's support. We usually don't. We don't consciously understand it. But Spirit understands it, and Spirit recognizes it. So the last one, elderhood. So for the letter E, in grace, I'm going to say embrace, enlighten, encourage, empower. Embrace, enlighten, encourage, empower. Elderhood is that sweet, sweet time of life. Now, I know most of us are saying, Lord, Ahmondra, it's not, but it is. It is. Let me tell you why. Embrace. We embrace all that we've lived through and all that we've learned. We can sit down and say, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, the cup, the mug, the ink pen. I embrace those experiences. Now, those of you who aren't elders, you pay attention. We are enlightened beings. We now understand how to be grateful for the small things in life. We know how to take responsibility for ourselves. We've learned that acceptance allows us to stay in the flow of life. We've learned how to be committed, and we are courageously standing for what's good and right. We have those attitudes, I don't care, I'm standing here. I don't care. This is what I know to be right, and I'm standing courageously in this space. We are encouraged because we understand that life doesn't show up on our terms, but we understand that whatever we need is going to show up. So we're encouraged because of that. And we stand inside of grace as we're encouraged. As elders, we stand inside the energy of grace and we are empowered. That's living in divine right order. When we're in divine right order, we're empowered. Because we understand it doesn't matter what it looks like, everything is in divine right order. We allow grace to lead us. We understand grace is always leading us to the light, even when things appear the darkest. And this is what I want to leave us with today. Jesus stood inside of grace and he shared a brand new ideology. They thought Jesus was crazy. They was like, who is this person walking around with no shoes? Well, I guess he did have some shoes, but who is he walking around? Jesus was enlightened and empowered. And because of his enlightenment, he empowered others. Check it out. It's how many years ago? 2000 or something? He's still empowering us. Because he stood inside of grace. He was enlightened. This is what I want to leave you with today. As we move forward this year, we have to stand inside of the energy of grace. Our world may look contentious, it may look chaotic, it may be filled with turmoil over the next 8 months, but we have to stand firmly in understanding there's a divine presence, and it's called grace. We are empowered to make an impact on this world. Everything we do, think, say, feel is transmitted into a larger consciousness. It's called race consciousness. You have a choice. You can transmit into the race consciousness what you want our world to look like, or you can receive out of the race consciousness things you may not want to receive. You have a choice. When we stand in grace and don't waver, change occurs. Things happen that we never dreamed could happen. Just like disenfranchised people being enfranchised. I want to end with 2 quotes from Ernest Holmes. When thought reaches a higher degree of perfection, as the race consciousness unfolds and evolves, it will bring out a still greater development of life than we now know. When our race consciousness reaches a certain level, everything shifts. That's how black people got out of slavery. There was a consciousness that evolved. And when it hit a certain place, things shifted. That's the same thing happening. It has not stopped. We have the ability to bring that consciousness up and to shift it so that it shifts over and things shift and change for the better. We live in an eternal now, which is filled with good alone. Nothing else but good. Goodness and beauty follow us. Peace and joy accompany us. Happiness and wholeness fill our entire beings with the realization of love and perfection. The divine presence of grace is ours to have. Do not terrorize yourself out of grace. I have a blessing to these words and a blessing to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Wow, that was powerful. Give her some more notes. This is called Train of Glory. We're going to get on that train. Yeah, angel. I know. We've been through so much. I know. We think it's been tough, but we were made to shine like warriors. We were made stars and magic stuff. Coming from a train of glory, nothing's gonna stop this train. Riding on a train of glory, everybody knows your name. Create a train of gratitude and love, the grateful vibes. Free your heart and soul. Get up, get out. Get out of that haze. Take a look around. Here's a brand new day. I'm on a train of glory. Nothing's gonna stop this train. Riding on a train of glory. Everybody knows your name. It's up to you. It's in your attitude. You can make a change, or you can stay the same. It's up to you. It's in the way you move. You can choose to fly, or just walk on by. It's up to you. Up to you. Up to you. Riding on a train of glory. Nothing's gonna stop this train. Riding on a train of glory. Everybody knows your name. It's up to you. It's in your attitude. You can make a change, or you can stay the same. It's up to you. It's in the way you move. You can choose to fly, or just walk on by. It's up to you. Up to you. Up to you. Riding on a train of glory. Nothing's gonna stop this train. Riding on a train of glory. Everybody knows your name.
So right now, let us prepare ourselves to sit inside of grace and just allow it to move through us as we prepare to send that grace out. And we're going to send it out in the form of financial abundance to the center and to the world. Take whatever it is you're going to offer this morning and just hold it in a consciousness of abundance or prosperity. Understand and know that whatever we send out comes back to us multiplied. And this morning, I am so grateful for us. I'm grateful for the center. I'm grateful for the finances that allows our center to be here this morning so that the words of divine grace can move into this world. I anchor these words this morning and simply say, and so
it is.
I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful.
I just want to say that I printed out the Ernest Holmes quotes, and I also printed out the different words that represent grace. So if you want to take them with you, you can. If I didn't print out enough, that's okay, no problem. Let me know, I can email it to you. That's a request that I have received, that you would like to take some things home with you, because you can't always remember. You see me sitting in the front all the time, writing notes, because I can't depend on that. So, let us just take a large, deep breath together. Let it out. Let us take another deep breath together and let it out. I understand and know that when grace descends upon us, sometimes it throws us off balance. And wherever you are right now, just understand and know that you're sitting inside of a powerful, powerful presence and energy. And that energy is grace. That energy is bringing to you all that you could think of. Whatever thought you can think, you send it into this powerful creative energy, and it gets manifested. So this morning, as you move from this physical space, take with you that energy of grace. Allow it to wash over you. Allow it to go back into your own childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, elderhood, and bring to you those instances when grace was present and you felt it. As we move forward into this week, we move forward knowing that we're sending out grace into this amazing universe. And as we send it out, it pours onto each and every person out there. We're sending out thoughts of peace, harmony, togetherness. And we're adding to the race consciousness this amazing energy for change. A change that will take us to the next level of consciousness. We stand inside of our courage. We make a commitment to not allow ourselves to terrorize ourselves out of grace. We allow that magnificent energy to flow through us, take us over stilled waters as we are the captains of our own ships. I give thanks this morning for the center for each and every one of you today. And as I send out this energy, I send it out to those who weren't here today, but we are holding them in our hearts. I send it out to those who may not even be conscious that grace is available to them, that they may feel it and step into a consciousness that allows them to know they're not alone. Hold this energy. Keep it with you. Allow it to use you as a conduit for good. I'm grateful for this time with you. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. And I release these words knowing that they're flowing out and they're multiplying and they're touching spirits, souls, individuals, lives. I invite you to anchor these words this morning with me by simply saying,
And so it is.
Can we stand for our closing song?
So the lyrics are on the back of your program. The song Open Your Heart. That's our love. Open your heart. Let your love